It was interesting because SLERF today I got a nice pump. I was I was in this like leverage trade, and I just took take profit, quickly take profit, and look, it's come right back down. So I still think the same thing. I didn't think that was our beginning of our next impulse when it happened. I did think it's obvious that we're still correcting here. It looks like potentially we're correcting flat, and I just kind of wanted to have a look at that to see what this correction looks like. Let me go to my, yeah. I mean, that's ideal, isn't it? A flat correction here. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you've got, look, you've got like A, B, C, haven't you? And you've got A, B, C. What's this one? Don't know. It's hard to tell because it hasn't formed yet. Potentially that, huh? That would be a nice flat correction if it holds the value area high here as support for the next kind of the next wave. Is there another wave? Let's have a look. 1, 2. Yeah, there's another wave. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, just looking at this, probably this is probably a correction. That 3 probably ended there. Let's just do this again. 1, ABC. No. Let's do this again. Hold on a sec. No, that looks like it finished, huh? But I don't like the multiple waves. 1, ABC, 3, correction, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That correct? That finished. That finished there. I had it right at the beginning. So this is corrective, and it looks, at the moment it looks flat, isn't it? Or an extended flat, or some kind of running flat. That's what it looks like at the moment, unless we get some changes on this. Is there bullish divergence? At the moment there is. At the moment it's extremely bullish. Look at that. Look at the MACD, how it's shooting right down. The price is holding the value area high. So based on this, I am thinking that we're potentially having a flat correction here. And if we are having a flat correction, it's not easy to tell. And I'm not crazy about... No, that's not bad candle. As long as this 12-hour candle doesn't close lower than the previous candle low, I wouldn't consider that as a terrible candle. This red candle is not pretty because you're taking the highs with a swing failure. But if it holds the value area, that could be good. Let's have a look at this. Someone just sent me this.
New York, I got one thing to say first. We need justice for Peanut, right? Like, you know, and it's not just a squirrel. It's all the kids that went hungry that night. And all the other things that the money and resources could have been put to. Hopefully that Doge cleans things up at the state level.
Doge. Fucking hell. Doge. You better buy some Doge, guys. If you haven't got any Doge, I think it'll be a mistake not to have Doge. This looks okay. I think this looks okay. This potentially we're looking for a flat correction here. Potentially. Yesterday I kind of imagined maybe it would go down, but no one really knows what's going to happen. And then based on time, like a 1-to-1, it's at midnight, huh? It's at 1 a.m. So that's when the pump begins. If it's a 1-to-1 on this correction, from the pivot to the low to the high, the 1-to-1 on this move, basically what I'm looking at is what you normally see with corrective moves. It's an A, B, C, D, E, some kind of diamond shape like that, very well balanced diamond shape. And in this context, it will be underneath the value area high, but I haven't updated the volume. So let me just quickly do that and see if see what it looks like. Let's get rid of that now. Let's just have a look at the volume now. This is the Bybit chart actually, so I probably should look at the volume across all the exchanges. It looks messy here, doesn't it? Let me just hide all of this and just keep the only thing that matters, which is volume. And let me just have a look and see if there's any changes. You see, it's kind of just trying to come back down to test the volume, the value area high. There aren't really any changes in this value area, are there? Let's kind of zoom out completely to a 4-hour time scale and get a little bit more data just in case. Nope. And so that's across multiple exchanges, 4 exchanges. Let me have a look at just Bybit now. And for people who wonder why do you use Bybit, I like to use Bybit because I want to see kind of the traders, and the traders are the ones who are using these derivatives, perpetual contracts. So I like to see what they're doing. I'm not really fussed about hodlers. I want to see where the traders are buying and selling at and where they get liquidated. So kind of we're coming in now on SLERF to test this value area high. On the 12-hour time frame, it doesn't look terrible because you have this kind of wide this doji with a bigger buying tail, and that's your anything after that is a little bit of an inside candle. So even if we were to close all the way down here, it wouldn't look terrible because we're just inside that candle. But I mean, I think obviously if we get a reaction and we close above the value area high here, then potentially you could be looking at some kind of diamond shape here like that, and the 1-to-1 on that would be something like that above the value area high. So you're kind of looking for this wherever this lands. You can't take out the low, to be honest with you, but kind of like there for lift off the value area. That would be nice to see. So if you see that, then maybe that's it. Maybe that's your correction, and then we'll know, but because we'll have an impulsive move to the upside. And then if you do have that kind of correction, then actually I'm looking for one more wave, which would be the wave 5. And so at the moment I've only counted 1, 2, 3 waves. I'm looking for one more. All right, to complete the 3. And in terms of targets, well, let's just have a look at this wave here. to see how we achieved this wave. So we basically stopped at about the, let me do it a bit more, let me do it on the 4-hour candles, and then let me just put a magnetic tool, because I like to be precise. I don't have 4.618, why not? Put it in. .618 from the 1 to 2, but from the 1 to 2 to the 3, really expansive move. So that was quite an expansive move, wasn't it, from there to there? Where does that take us? And then where's my higher time frame levels? Let's see. Daily level there. Not much confidence there. Can't really tell, but I think if we start impulsing, then my first inclination will be to count 5 waves. First, 3 impulsive and 2 corrective, starting off wherever this begins to impulse. That's kind of what I'm imagining right now. If we start going down for reasons that I can't explain, then what it means is that this is the first part of the correction, and then we have more corrections. So this is just the first part. That's kind of what it would mean. So the correction's not over. Hold on a second. Yeah, and so that's really, at the moment, this could be it. And obviously it requires Bitcoin to go up. The other thing that I'm kind of considering is that you've got this weekly level that's holding as resistance. See that? So we've hit it once, twice, and it's definitely holding as resistance. And so if the correction's not over, then actually what may happen is you go up, hit it again, and it's more likely to happen in this scenario if we put in a lower low here, right? So if you take out this low now, then that will be a lower low, wouldn't it? And then if you go up and you find resistance there, and you come right back down, and then you've changed market structure on this time frame, the 1 hour, and it's looking like a head and shoulders pattern, isn't it? And then actually you're probably looking for a much deeper correction here. And then in this circumstance, it would be more like, you know, something like A, whatever, B, C, like that, whatever. And then another, whatever, another kind of, however this plays out, no one really knows. You know, maybe just grinds down all the way down to this high volume node then, okay? And shit like that is possible. So just because you don't think it is, and just because you think everything is bullish, don't assume that things like this can't happen. But in the first instance, I think taking out this low would be my first warning sign, okay? Because if this is bullish, you're not going to just take out the lows, are you? There's going to be so much demand that people are going to be trying to aggressively buy the dips. That's the idea, isn't it? So if people are bullish on SLERF, they're looking to buy SLERF. As it starts to dip now, people are going to look to aggressively buy. And if you have a lot of demand, then you're just not going to be able to put in a lower low here. You'd be able to, you'll hold a higher low, and that's when you get a corrective pattern complete like this. Right? But if there's not enough demand and there's more selling than buying, then actually you take out the low, you get a bounce. And then the next question is, when people who have seen that change, the first lower low, at what point do they decide they want to actually break even or take profit? And usually it will come back down to some kind of higher time, medium time frame volume level, you know. And then you're actually changing market structure here, and then it's going to look really bearish, and then you're just looking to correct that. And the thing is, in this context, this 4 can come all the way down to the top of this one and still remain, in terms of Elliott waves, still remain correct. Yeah, still for another wave. Yeah, so it doesn't invalidate anything. But obviously it's going to, if you start losing levels, at the moment we're holding the value area high. You start flipping the value area high into resistance, then based on volume, your next target is going to be the next high volume node, which is down at 27 cents. So my preference here is a flat correction, and here we'd be making like a higher low on time, somewhere at midnight. Back testing the value area high for continuation. That will be my preference. But you know, for another wave from here. And then just let me have a look at the weekly time frame. So we've come, it's a really bullish weekly candle. Are we going to get a continuation? Well, possibly. Look at the volume, it's high volume, but then also bear this in mind, you could also get a weekly pullback all the way down to this high volume node, which is where I think the next kind of big level of support is. If we can't continue, come back down to 27 cents for the next week, and that would be perfectly acceptable for another wave. But I mean, if we can just go up, then yeah, why not? That would be nice. Just go up to, what did I say? Don't know really. It's hard to know. Probably better to just count waves, impulsive waves. Let me just try and figure it out though for myself, because we're coming to the end of this wave and I just want to know. So what was it from this one here? Six 1.618. Was that the wave? Yeah. 618. Yeah, that perfectly lines up with the 2.618. I think there's a big level at 63 cents, but if we get, I think it's more likely possible than not that we push further. SLERF likes to push more than people expect, and really the target would be 80 cents right up to there. I think that would be more likely in this if we hold here for a flat correction like this, pushing high. And so the thing is that there is a big level here. There's a big resistance level at 63 cents. So you'd have to kind of count waves, and we'd have to impulse through it. This would have to be a flat correction. Yeah. If we go further down later on in the week, then there's no way we're going to get up to 80 cents. Okay. But if we can correct flat here and hold the value area high as support by 1 a.m. And then Bitcoin goes up and then this starts to go up, then I think it's more like, because then you've got 5 impulsive waves, haven't you? So one, can you imagine 5? 1, let's say one goes up to there straight in one go, up to 63 cents in one go, you know, zigzag, wave 3, whatever, you know, then you're at your target, wave 5, whatever. And that would make sense. That would be like your target, wouldn't it? And that's actually we've got good confluence here because you've got the 2.618 trend-based fib extension based on this 0 to 1 to 2, which lines up to the dot on this daily level that I've marked out, which we haven't hit yet. And that's probably the highest resistance level on this chart when it comes to liquidity levels, that daily level. But again, just bear in mind that this level here at 63 is a weekly, monthly, and a daily all in one. Okay, so it's possible we expand, hit that, and we retrace all the way back. And as long as we don't come underneath the initial move, wherever the impulse begins, then we could still continue for the 3 and the 5. If for some reason we just do that, then actually for reasons that I can't explain, that was it, and that was your 5 there, and then that completes your 3. Like if it just goes up in one impulse, sometimes it happens, and then you invalidate, you come underneath it, and then that's it, isn't it? That was it. That was your final impulse. That was your 5. So just bear in mind that there's a big level here at 63 cents. You get perfect reaction and a massive volume, and then it starts to reject, then just be aware that it's really going back to try and test this value, maybe this weekly level here again, the one that we have to cross. And so the price has to kind of move in certain fashion to get to where it's going. But I really like that 80 cents target, if that's possible. Right, so that's kind of my SLERF. And so what happens in the next few hours is really important, isn't it? So what time is it now? It's 10 past 7. We've got another 5-6 hours before that time pivot, that 1-to-1. And so basically what I would like to see here, if possible, maybe a little bounce, and then maybe a kind of another to land perfectly on time for explosion at 1 a.m. onto this 1 a.m. But then we'd have to bounce. All right, for an ABC. That's what I'm kind of imagining. That's kind of my what I'm thinking about SLERF at the moment. And again, I think we're at the beginning of the bull market, and so I'm not talking. I mean, obviously the bull market started last year when Bitcoin made its all-time high and started to go a bit mental from lower levels. But when I'm talking about altcoins, yeah, we're almost at the beginning of altcoin bull market. So I think when you look at this chart now, the fact that we've reversed almost all of the losses, we've actually, when you're looking at this, yeah, and this is, context is really important. With these last 2 weeks, we've reversed 1, 2, 3. Let me just count it. All the way to there. We've reversed 20 weeks of bearish price action in 2 weeks. That's extremely bullish. That's extremely bullish. Impulsive move, impulsive behavior. So you can't ignore that. This isn't a weak impulse. This is actually a really strong impulse. We've reversed all of that. Just to think that we're back at 40 cents. It's unimaginable, really, when you think about a lot of people were giving up on SLERF and saying it was dead and whatever, and it's finished and whatever. SLERF had a few problems, whatever. But the reality is that the charts are telling us that this is alive and kicking, and it's looking for higher. So if you are in spot, you know, it might be worth waiting a little bit before you start exiting or taking profit, significant profit, you know, because I think there's more to come in this, probably. Anyway, not financial advice.